Time now for the old triple option crystal ball brought to you by our great friends at Bet MGM. The NBA playoffs are heading into the second round. Here's an offer for basketball fans you won't find anywhere else. Pick the player you think will score first in the game if it's not your player, but he scores the second field goal of the game. You get your stake back in cash. That's only with Bet MGM. So the crystal ball is out. We're going to talk about the Nico-less Tennessee Volunteers. Coach, just remind me what you said about Tennessee a couple weeks ago when Nico left.
They're screwed.
Screwed.
And I'm going to say it again. You would let a potential first round, not let, but a potential first rounder walks out on you, especially a starting quarterback of a team that was in the playoffs.
Yep.
A team at times looked really, really good. And he was a young quarterback. You know what happens to young quarterbacks, Rob?
They get better.
They get better.
Yeah.
So
they get better, and apparently they want to get paid better as well. All right, so Bet MGM has set their win total at 8.5. How about this, though, Coach? It was 9.5 before Nico transferred out. Yeah. So it's now down a game to 8.5, plus 120 to go over that number and 155 to go under. Quick recap. Last season, Tennessee, 10-2 in the regular season, finished at 10-3, lost at Ohio State, first round of the college football playoff. In the regular season, lost to Georgia and Arkansas, had ranked wins over NC State, Alabama, and Oklahoma. The big news, of course, their quarterback is gone. Nico goes to UCLA. Remember, only had one game over 300 yards last season. That was against Chattanooga. So maybe we need to pump the brakes a little bit.
Sure.
Maybe a little bit. Effectively, UCLA and Tennessee pulled off the much heralded quarterback trade where former App State QB Joey Aguilar, who had transferred from the Mountaineers in upstate North Carolina to UCLA and then now goes to Tennessee. His numbers, 25 starts at App State, 6,700 yards, 56 touchdowns, 24 picks, Coach. All right, so let's look at the schedule. This is always a fun exercise. Again, 8.5. 8.5. Can they get to 9? We start Syracuse in Atlanta, Mercedes-Benz Dome. So that is going to be a de facto home game, if you will, for Tennessee. I love Syracuse. I love what Coach Brown is doing. Both these programs enter with new quarterbacks, and I think the overall depth, I would go advantage Tennessee. You?
I'd go advantage Tennessee, but that's going to be a rugged game. That's going to be a tough one.
All right, so let's give them one there.
I mean, on paper, Tennessee's got better players. That's a fact.
There you go.
That's the way it is. But I'm sure Vegas has that thing at probably 6.
Yeah, enough to make it scary.
Much more than that. Absolutely.
Enough to make you squirm, right? All right,
sure,
so let's give Tennessee week 1. Congratulations. East Tennessee State, win.
2.
Week 3, home, Georgia.
They lose.
No, okay. Next game, home, UAB.
Win.
3. They finally hit the road, a true road game at Mississippi State.
4.
Home to Arkansas. Yeah, it's home. It's home. We'll put it on the back burner.
Okay.
All right. So 4 definites, 1/2. At Alabama.
No.
At Kentucky.
I'm going to give them that one because I'm going to say they'll split Arkansas, Kentucky. So
okay.
Let's say one.
So that's 5. Home to Oklahoma. Ooh is right. Ooh, and again, we're trying to get to 9.
I think Oklahoma's reeling a little bit right now. I really do. I just hearing some things out there and the way they finished last year.
Okay.
But once again, the thing about you look at these darn teams, you just don't know who's on the roster. You know, who did they get?
That's the beauty of doing this in May.
Oklahoma, I'm going to give them a not sure. So those split Oklahoma, Florida. So let's give them one more win. That's 6.
Oh, you're already splitting Florida. I haven't even gotten to Florida. That's fine. All right, I'll take them to 6. We'll go to 7 with New Mexico State. Right?
Yep.
Florida, we gave them a half win with Oklahoma. We're doing our own fuzzy math here, right? Now they got half a win versus Oklahoma, half a win versus Florida. So that takes them to 7, and they close with Vandy.
Which I'll tell you what, that's another one. They got a heck of a coaching staff down there.
Agreed.
That's a rivalry game. So I think they get 8. But I'll tell you what, that's
8.
They still. I'm gonna say they got screwed again. However, the first trade that I'm aware of in college football history, they traded 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
How about saying that? You just traded a quarterback.
They're not going to call it a trade, but that's what it was.
So I went and watched Aguilar because
I
knew I wanted to familiar. I love Appy State, but the reality is it's not as you're stepping in the SEC.
Yeah.
So everybody's at least a step, maybe at most positions, 2 steps faster. And when you have 24 interceptions, that's about one per game. That's way too many. And those interceptions now, the pockets or the windows just are so much tighter.
Yeah.
I will go back on record again as saying Tennessee's screwed. Now you can get unscrewed real fast if that team develops. But as of whatever the date is, May, we're in the get screwed category.
You can become unscrewed real fast.
Sure,
All right, so
sure.
they need to take out the WD-40 and loosen up some of that rust. Get after that screw and unscrew it and get out of there. But we got them right now at a fuzzy math 8 wins, a very fuzzy math.
And then Nico's out signing autographs in Westwood.
He hasn't thrown the ball yet for the Bruins, has he?
And I heard he's supposed to be at some practices or something. I don't know. I just heard from people.
The Lakers and the Clippers had playoff games, Coach. He's busy. Yeah. He's got things to do, man.
Get your butt in the huddle, man. Let's go.
So, all right. So good coaching, little pep talk right there. Coach Heupel's got himself a little QB quandary right now, right? And he's going to really have to deal with it in the fall because of Aguilar coming in so late. So how does a coach manage an open quarterback race? And let's just say it is a pure open quarterback race where options A, B, and C essentially are level.
When the minute you said you got a quarterback issue, I go right to their schedule. And here's the problem. You screw around with your quarterback because you have to name a quarter within 2 weeks of training camp. There's no chance that you can let this thing bleed out, because the team has to know who your quarterback is. So a guy that's just stepping on campus now, a guy that's only completed or attempted 9 passes, I believe, you have to, and Josh Heupel played quarterback won the Heisman, right? Or at least a national I'm not sure, but he knows enough about quarter play he has to announce this sooner than later. And they got Syracuse, East Tennessee State, and Georgia. You can't come out of that thing 1 and 2, because then you are back into underlined screwed category, because the rest of your schedule, you're a mess.
Yeah.
You got to find a way to win those first 2 games.
So 2 weeks into camp, Tennessee's going to name their starting quarterback,
they have
right?
To.
That's how it needs to handle.
They have to.
All right. Hopefully Mark Ingram will be back with us next week. He's got a pretty cool opportunity that made him miss this week.
How many kids does he have? He has 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Every time I turn around, there's another Ingram running around.
He's got a good deal tonight, though. He's taking his son to batting practice, so that's pretty cool.
And who's he going to see? He's going to see the Dodgers. He's going to see Ohtani. See some of those guys. So yeah, Mark, enjoy the family time.
I got news, Rob. I'd be there with him.
I know you would. And let me tell you, nobody wants me hosting this podcast by myself.